Hey guys, welcome to my new movie review for the incredibly mind-blowing movie Avatar. Now, this movie is actually not new at all. It's 2019, but this movie actually came out in 2009. And this is an incredibly special request to a very dear friend of mine, Simon. A massive shout out to you, brother. I really hope you enjoy this movie review. So, this movie, as of last night, just dropped off of being the highest grossing film of all time. 20 years running, this was literally the highest grossing film of all time. Wrap your head around that. That's huge. Of all time, literally. Wow. So this came out in 2009. It's rated M. So the duration of the film is 2 hours and 45 minutes long, which is just absolutely incredible. Man alive, that's a long film. Well, it's kind of funny because it's not now, because there have been movies today that are like 3 hours long, even plus in some cases. So, yes, for its time, 2009, that was a really long film, but in today's standards, it's actually, it is still very long, but it's becoming quite common, which is crazy. So before I go into the cast and the director of this film, I want you to know something really phenomenal. This movie is literally the reason why 3D was invented. 3D was invented because of this movie and not the other way around. Literally. So James Cameron was the birthing pod with Avatar of 3D. Now, this is just my personal opinion, I I absolutely hate, passionately hate 3D. I'm so glad that my local cinema no longer plays 3D because I hate 3D. I never liked it when it came out. I believe I saw Avatar in cinemas in 3D, but then I preferred it when I saw it in 2D because it was just not my cup of tea at all. So this is written and directed by James Cameron. Literally written and directed by James Cameron. And the cast of this movie is Sam Worthington, Zoe Saldana, Sigourney Weaver, Michelle Rodriguez, and if that name rings a bell, she's out of the Fast and Furious franchise. The mind-blowingly awesome Stephen Lang. Man, I love Stephen Lang. He's a brilliant actor. And I think I'm going to butcher this name, but I'm going to try and say it. Giovanni Ribisi. I'm so sorry. I think I did butcher that name. In fact, what I'm going to do right now.
Giovanni Ribisi.
Yeah. I had to let Google say that name because, yeah, I really didn't want to butcher it. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. So I'm going to tell you one of the things that I found really funny about this movie, like straight off the bat. The first words out of Sigourney Weaver's mouth, so who she plays in the movie, the first words out of Sigourney Weaver's mouth is "where cigarette," and I was like, it's kind of it kind of throws you back because you're like, whoa, what the heck? But there's a reason because obviously they wanted it to be funny, I guess. But more than that, they really wanted you to understand who she is in this movie. They really didn't want you to see her as a soft-hearted, beautiful thing. Sigourney Weaver's from the Alien franchise. She is a badass. This movie was absolutely groundbreaking visual effects for its time in 2009. There had never been a movie of this visual caliber. Like, this movie literally set the benchmark. It set the new precedent, a new stage for cinematic visual effects. Literally, this movie is so incredibly epically amazing that it really is hard to flaw. Honestly, it's that big. This movie, and there's a reason why. I want to tell you something really, really interesting. This movie actually didn't become the highest grossing film of all time as fast as Avengers Endgame did. This was actually quite a slow process to get there. It actually took quite a few weeks, but it was in cinema long enough. That's how it became the highest grossing film of all time. So that's a bit of fun fact, interesting trivia for you. And don't worry, this movie review has a ton of incredibly interesting trivia. This movie literally captivates you from the absolute word go. The storyline and the script and the execution of the visual effects and the narration from the absolute start of this movie, it has you hook, line, and sinker. This is what I call a 100% rewatchable movie. In fact, I don't know how many times I personally saw this in cinema, but I definitely saw it more than once. And if you haven't seen Avatar, like Simon, when you see it, you'll completely understand why it was the highest grossing film of all time. And this movie is one of those movies that they will definitely re-release in cinema before Avatar 2 comes out. And that's at the moment, guys, that's what I keep thinking about is I don't actually think that Avengers Endgame is going to hold the title for long as being the highest grossing film of all time. Because when they release Avatar 2, they're definitely going to re-release Avatar 1 back in cinemas for a short time. And everyone's going to flock to see it again because why wouldn't you? Especially with the standard of cinemas sound quality today. Now, in my personal cinema that literally is 7-minute drive down the road, I have a cinema with Dolby Atmos, which is the highest sound quality in cinema today, which is mind blowing. I'm so blessed, I'm so grateful, and it just excites me every time to go and see a movie, especially in VMAX, because the cinema screen is ginormous. His other hit besides this, which was a massive success, which also was a billion-dollar film, was Titanic. In fact, I believe Titanic was also a multi-billion-dollar film. So maybe this was the second one, and obviously now due to inflation, he's one of the wealthiest directors, literally, in Hollywood today, and that's why he has so much leeway and room to do these mammoth movies because they know he's going to produce an epic masterpiece again and again and again and again, and we are so grateful for what he has to bring to the table. It's amazing. James Cameron actually originally planned to release this film in 1999. At the time, the special effects that he wanted to release this film actually cost up to $400 million. No studio would fund this film. And unfortunately, it was shelved for 8 years. Wrap your head around that one, guys. So, at the time, Sam Worthington was actually living in his car when he was auditioning for this film. How crazy is that? That's incredible. Avatar literally took 4 years to make from pre-production to the final release of the movie. Man, that's a long time to make a movie. As I said at the beginning of this movie review, guys, this was the first movie in US history to hit $2 billion worldwide. But that's not including inflation. So now it would be worth so much more. That was back in 2009. James Cameron was convinced that CGI was up to standard, that he could film this movie because of the movie The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers in 2002. He saw Gollum and he knew straight away that Avatar was ready to be created purely because of the effects and how crazily epically perfect Gollum looked in that movie. Some of the CGI scenes took 47 hours on average to render. Here's a bit of fun fact trivia for you. Sam Worthington actually thought that the Naive language that they speak in Avatar was actually easier to pick up than the American accent. So when you see this film, you'll actually see that Sam Worthington, when he's the human form of Sam Worthington, he's actually in a wheelchair. That's his character in a wheelchair, and they explain that at the beginning of the movie. But they actually had to use prosthetic legs at the front of his legs, dangling down. That was actually prosthetics, and they actually cast those prosthetics from an actual amputee. And then in post-production, they actually digitally removed Sam Worthington's real legs, which is phenomenal. Here's a ridiculously interesting fact. The cigarette that Sigourney Weaver smokes at the beginning of the film was actually computer generated. It's a fake cigarette completely. Are you kidding me? To appease 20th Century Fox fears and remembering that the harrowing experience of Titanic in 1997 and its costly overrun and extreme delays in the film making it, James Cameron promised the studio that he would forfeit his director's fee if Avatar flopped. Avatar was James Cameron's first director's featurette since Titanic 1997, which was actually the highest grossing film of its time until obviously Avatar overtook it, which is incredible. Composer James Horner, I think that's how you pronounce his last name, actually said that this was literally the most difficult film that he's ever had to compose in his entire career. He said in an interview that he had to work on this movie from 4 a.m. till 10 p.m. for literally a year and a half, and that's just the music for the movie. That's incredible. Most of the animal noises that you hear in this film are actually recycled noises from the movie Jurassic Park in 1993. Notably, the T-Rex and the raptors. So to help the characters really get involved, invested, and really grounded and understand the environment that they were about to be put into in the incredible world that James Cameron built in CGI, he wanted them to really get a grasping understanding of what it was going to feel like living in that world. So he took the entire cast to Hawaii, and they literally during the day they literally lived in the jungle, and they just tried to get as practical as they possibly could in everything that they were doing. But the funniest part about this story is in the evenings they stayed in a 4-star hotel. That's hilarious. The book that Grace picks up in the abandoned school scene is actually The Lorax by Dr. Seuss. Like the plot point in the film. The book is about a forest full of beautiful trees and mystical creatures that are destroyed by man's lust for everything growing around them. The whooping and lashing calls from the creatures in Pandora are literally real life hyenas that they actually got the real calls from in wherever you find hyenas. So all of the animals in Pandora actually have 6 limbs, except for the Na'vi creatures in Pandora. I absolutely love this fact about this film. This movie actually won 3 Oscars, which when you watch it, it is absolutely no surprise whatsoever. As we speak, director James Cameron is actually in the pre-production of Avatar 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, what he's stated in an interview with Jimmy Fallon is if Avatar 2 takes off as well as he believes it's going to, then he's going to greenlight Avatar 3, 4, and 5 straight away. So it's very, very, very highly possible that they're going to literally release them back to back, which is never, ever, no sequel has ever been done in the history of film like that. But he's got the money, he's got the time, and he has the power to do that. Guys, this movie has it all. Intense action, a moving storyline, so much incredible heart, drama, epic fantasy, realistic danger, passion, and incredible intimacy. It is so, so beautifully crafted. It is absolutely an epic masterpiece of cinematography joy to watch. It really is. Even the relationship between Jake and Naivety, I don't know how to pronounce her name. It is so believable and it's so beautiful to watch their chemistry together. It just makes you want to watch it because it's just so in depth and it's so incredibly well mastered. It's just the chemistry is just flawless. Jonavi Rabiribisi, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I don't know how to say his name. I really apologize for that. In this movie is such an incredible villain. I mean, it just blows my mind at how much he shows the audience that he really doesn't care about the people, like the Avatar people. It blows my mind. He plays such a powerful and gripping villain and he laughs it off because it's not affecting him at all because that's not what he's there for. And he's part of the storyline is so incredibly mind-blowingly executed. I love it so much. He's such a good character in this movie. It's phenomenal. So if you've seen the really, really old movie Fern Gully, this movie actually feels like a live adaptation of this movie. It's really, really similar. And that is a really good thing because I think Fern Gully is one of the most beautiful movies of its time. Sam Worthington had absolutely no idea what this movie was or about because when he went into the actual filming of it, everything around him was just green screen and he didn't even really understand what was going on until he saw the final product and he was blown away. He could not believe what James Cameron had brought. This movie grossed $749.7 million in the United States and Canada, and then $2.74 billion more worldwide, becoming the highest grossing film in America and Canadian history of its time. As I said, surpassing James Cameron's original billion-dollar masterpiece, Titanic. Avatar also was the first film in its history to surpass $2 billion, on its opening run worldwide. So, guys, I'm going to leave you with this. The incredibly beautiful and incredibly talented Zoe Saldana is now an actor in the two top highest grossing films of all time. That is an incredible badge of honor to wear. Wow. And I'm pretty sure that she's in Avatar too, so brace yourself, Zoe. Guys, thank you so much for watching this movie review. I really appreciate it. I hope you appreciated watching this as much as I love doing it. Again, I just want to give a massive shout out to Avengers Endgame for finally beating this incredible movie Avatar off the highest grossing film of all time. But I mean, come on. Both movies are absolutely epic. Guys, if you have not seen Avatar, I 100% encourage you to go and watch this epic masterpiece, and I promise you, you will thoroughly enjoy it 100%. As I said, it goes for 2 hours and 45 minutes, and it is 2 hours and 45 minutes of pure entertainment, I promise you. Thank you so much. Please subscribe, please leave a like, and take care until my next review. You guys are amazing.